Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Parents Engaging Parents Beloved Community Check-in. My name is Erica Beverett, and I'm here with our community champion, of course, Miss May Woodley. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. Good to be here. How are you doing it today, Erica? Everything's going well for you?
Yeah, everything is going well. I'm
Mm.
excited because today we're going to be having our engagement on meal planning with Ashley Brown from the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, SNAP Ed Education. And I should say she's a senior SNAP Ed nutritionist. And we're
Awesome.
excited to have her with us to share some tips and tricks on meal planning. And yeah, it's like that back to school time, right? And of
Yes.
course, you always hear that, "Mom, what's for dinner? What's for
Mhm.
dinner?" So I think that it's going to be great to be able to get um, some of those plans going and the know-how, of course, to that meal planning.
Yes, I remember those days. We're an empty nester now, so it's just good to be able to relax. But we still have those same issues, trying to figure out what we're going to have for dinner and to
Hmm.
have leftovers for lunch. So it's good to prepare,
Yeah,
saves
yeah,
time and
yeah.
money.
Hi, Cardona Aguilera. Good evening. And of course, I do want to remind everybody what PEP's mission is. And our mission is to promote civic awareness and proactive community action based on the interest of parents and community leaders. So glad to be doing this and doing this work. And hello, Cardona Aguilera. Good afternoon or good evening. And hello, Gabby.
Mhm.
Gabby is our powerful leader from Trenton. And Miss D Walker, hi. Oh, I love her her picture up there. That is so cute.
That is.
We've got Mickey. It almost looks like Mickey is surfing, but maybe that was my eyes tricking me. But I definitely see the palm trees in the background.
Palm trees, yes.
Yeah. So, Miss May, tell us about some of the community events that you have going on in Bridgeton.
So, Erica, we're very excited in Bridgeton right now. We are planning our Unity Day, and it's been in the making for several months now. So now we're coming to the end, and today we were out in the field looking at the location and making sure that we have enough space to accommodate all of the people that we are expecting. And also, we have an additional treat. We have one of the young people who came from Bridgeton. He went to high school in Bridgeton, graduated, and he went away to college. And he has now been signed to play professional football. And they're going to have National Mr. Bell Day on that day. They're going to have a parade and they're going to honor him, and he'll be able to meet and greet the people here in the city of Bridgeton. So with that, and then organizing for that day, we have a lot of events. Our drum line is going to perform that day, so the kids are really excited about that. And we have some other entertainers. We have food trucks. There's resource tables, and we're just expecting to have a great time.
Great. Yep. And we will be there, of course. PEP will be there as well, sharing in
Yes,
that Unity and community event, Unity Day event. So excited
yes.
for that. And of course, we've been up and down the state as well. We started pretty much our community outreach tour, I should say. And we
Mhm.
have so far been in Patterson serving the communities there. Shout out to Salvage Our City, Miguel and Orchid for your relentless work, making sure that your community has the resources they need, and their team that came out. Thank you so much. And also, shout out to Patterson Cares who provided the food and juice for the kids, and they were like
Mhm.
super happy, and it was just great to engage with everybody out there.
Oh, that sounds nice, Erica. Sounds like you guys
Hmm.
had a great time.
We
And I'm sure
did.
the
And
families really appreciated that as well.
of course, yes. They really were appreciative. And then also as well, we were with Miss Elise, community champion. We partnered with her as well. We were out there in East Orange with the East Orange PD. They had
Mhm.
their community resource day. Um, and we had a great evening out there too. They had the U.S. Army. They had a few
Wow.
different vendors out there. I should say community resources out there sharing it
Mhm.
as well. So that was a great event. So our next upcoming events are going to be actually this weekend. So we are going to be with Angela Cares, and please take a look at our page. Make sure that you see exactly when that event is. She is having the ultimate
Mm.
giveaway, which she's going to have a plethora of resources for her community,
Wow.
and all our community members are coming together, and partners are coming together as well to give out those resources and share this information on civic engagement and awareness as well. So we're excited. Shout out to Angela Cares and Angela McKnight and her team doing amazing work over there in Hudson County.
Awesome. That's really exciting to hear. So many people are getting involved with their community, and especially at this time of year when everything is so expensive, and being able to aid those families that may be going through difficult times, and being able to help them. I love the mission of PEP and all the things that they do across our entire state. So it's just exciting to be a part.
Yeah, no, thank you. We couldn't do it without you. You know, each community needs a community partner. That's how we keep our this thing called beloved community going. So
Mhm.
with that, we are going to bring, and I'm going to definitely ask for everybody to please like and share this page. I also did not get to mention we do have after our this Saturday we have another community event coming up. It's going to be in Riverton at a Riverton school in partnership with Senator Troy Singleton. We're going to be out there at the Riverton school for about an hour to engage their school community and give out book bags and school supplies there as well. So excited for that. And then your event, oh, we're going to be
Mhm.
like statewide that day. So September
Yes,
3rd is
awesome.
going to be like an amazing day. We're going to see so
Yes.
many people all across the state. Shout out to Gabrielle Douglas, who's partnered with the Trenton Library to put, and Samaj Russell, who's also our powerful leader, who is in partnership with the library, giving out book bags and school supplies there. They're going to have a face painter. They're going to have storytelling. So they're putting together something
Wow.
pretty amazing at the library. So definitely go check that out. That's going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning if you did not pre-register. If you pre-register,
Mhm.
um, then you might be able to slide in there a little bit earlier. So definitely check that event out as well. So that's going to be from 10 to 1. And then after that, we're going to have another event, and that is going to be from 12 to 5 in Newark. There's going to be a
Mm.
humongous, another one, a big event, block party. It's supposed to be something amazing with Pastor Paul and Rock of Life Assembly of God in partnership with them. And I'm sure lots of other community partners as well. And then we're going to have your event as well. So, so
Oh, lots
you're
of
definitely going to be busy rocking and
yes.
rolling, but that's what we do. So without further
Awesome.
ado, I'm going to bring in Miss Ashley Brown. Miss Ashley Brown is from the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, and they are known for um, giving out packaged foods, to local soup kitchens or pantries, and helping people in need through SNAP and SNAP
Mhm.
assistance, even signing them up for that. So definitely reach out to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey because they are doing amazing work as well.
Good night. How are you doing today, Erica?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. So happy to be
Hey,
here.
Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, we are definitely excited to have you. Ashley, tell us just give us a little synopsis of, just say meal planning and that's it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
So, hi everyone. I hope you're having a good night so far. My name is Ashley Brown. Like Erica said, I am with the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. So we're here tonight to talk about meal planning, which is something that is super important now, especially with inflation prices ever rising. Meal planning is something that can be really beneficial. So let me share my screen with you all, and we'll get started. So as always, we always start off with the Justice for All poster. This is a non-discrimination statement. So based, no matter what factors, so based on race, national origin, color, sex, age, disability, any religious beliefs, they're all banned from retaliation or discrimination. So with that, we can go ahead and get started. Now, as always, this is one of our Just Say Yes workshops. So this is interactive. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to put them in the chat box. Feel free to ask questions. We love that interaction. We love that feedback. And I love when I can make this a little bit more personable. So if you have a question on a certain topic, please ask it. It really enhances the classes. And it really is, if we're teaching stuff that you're interested in learning about, then it's really going to be able to help you. So our Just Say Yes to Fruits and Vegetables program is a SNAP Ed program that really aims to support that healthy living, really by promoting that fresh fruit and vegetable income, as well as other forms of fruits and vegetables. So for more information on the JSY website, we do have the jsyfruitveggies.org website that you can go visit. All of the recipes that we share both tonight as well as hundreds of others are going to be on this website. It's a really great source for easy, low-cost recipes that are going to be really yummy and delicious. And as always, if you do need help accessing food, please visit the CFBNJ website. We have a lot of different resources there, from lists of pantries to different places and different resources that can help you and you can access. So tonight's lesson, as we said earlier, is going to be on meal planning. So to begin, who here is a planner? Or are you more of like a spur of the moment? Let's try to see what kind of split of people we have here.
If you know me, you know what kind of planner I am.
So, Ashley, I tend to plan when I'm having difficulty staying on my diet.
Okay.
So typically, if I'm, watching what I eat, I can plan and go to the grocery store and plan my meals. But as soon as I run out of time, I don't plan.
You're not the only one. A lot of people are like that. And I mean, it's like kind of almost like preaching to the choir. I talk about this all the time, but sometimes we just don't have the time and it's easier. Let me just grab this. And
Yes.
that's where tonight we're going to go through some of the different strategies. So that way, because overall meal planning may take a little bit more time up front, but it will eventually help you save more time later on. So what do we think are some of the benefits of meal planning before I really get into it? What do you think are some of them?
I would say you would spend less money.
Well, it is definitely typically one of them.
Yeah. So, Miss Ramos said that I want to learn how to plan. Thank you. That's what we're here for. We are here to learn how to plan. I'm telling you that right now. Yes. Oh, she said, yes, I agree. On a healthy diet, but I still have to cook for the kids.
And we're going to touch all about that because a lot of times we have kids that are like, no, I won't eat that. But we still want to get them to be eating healthy. And we don't want to be cooking 2 or 3 meals because I can't be the only one. It's like, oh, we cooked this for you. But the kids are like, no, I won't eat that. And then you end up cooking an entirely different meal.
Exactly. And then on top of that, picking. So I'm definitely not a planner. I'm like a last minute kind of person. Like, oh, what am I want to eat? And then I can't decide. And then, I'm usually like running or scrambling. I usually have food in the refrigerator or in the freezer, but then I would just refuse to take it out for whatever reason. And then I end up going to the store and buying what's already there. So that's like my, I guess,
something I come across often is I'll have stuff in my fridge and then I just forget that I have it. And then you go out and buy more. But so we can really get into this now. So the first part of meal planning really is looking at what you have already in your home. So finding out what foods, what's in your fridge, what's in your pantry, what foods that you can use. And then based on what you already have and based on what your family's interests are. So say you have a family member that really is into, I don't know, Erica, give me your favorite food.
Chicken.
Okay, so say you really want to kind of plan around some chicken. So based on what you have and based around your interests, it'll kind of help you plan what meals you want throughout the week. So say on Monday you want to make a grilled chicken and penne pasta. And then on Tuesday, we want to do, I don't know, quesadillas maybe. So the first step is really kind of figuring out what foods you want to make throughout the week. And from there, you can go in and be like, okay, for that grilled chicken, I'm going to need the chicken. I'm going to need that pasta. For those quesadillas, maybe you need some wraps, some cheese, kind of depending on what toppings and what ingredients do you want to put in there. You're going to really want to do that. And you're going to really want to create your list and list everything out for what you're going to need and what you are going to be using in those recipes. Now, from that list, it's also really important to check on your pantries and check in your fridge. Sometimes we'll put through that list and we'll buy an ingredient and it's like, oh, I already had brown rice in my fridge. Or my pantry already had this ingredient. Now, sometimes that doesn't matter. Like personally, I usually have onions in my fridge a lot, or not in my fridge, but in my pantry items. So I think an item like that, they do last a while, so it's not as big of a deal. But for an item such as like some fresh fruits and veggies, if you already have carrots in your fridge and you go and buy more, sometimes they can go to waste. So one really important thing is to make sure you're checking your pantries, you're checking your fridge, your freezers before you go out and buy something, so that we're not buying duplicates. With certain things in your pantry like beans or rice, it doesn't really matter because they're not going to go bad. But in order to save money, that is going to be a really great tip. And now the most important thing when you're going shopping, you're planning your list, is make sure you actually bring it with you. I can't be the only one who's had their list, wrote it all out, and then it's been like, I forgot my list on my kitchen table.
Yeah.
So always recommend just kind of having it on your phone, maybe taking a picture. Nowadays, just kind of doing it in the Notes app on your phone. And nowadays, it's really great because with a lot of different grocery stores, you can actually make your grocery list on the app of the grocery store.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's nice because it'll be like, okay, say you need, I don't know, say you want graham crackers. It'll tell you that it's in aisle 12. It really organizes it. So I know it makes shopping through the grocery store a lot quicker. I know my husband hates when I go through the aisles up and down looking for something.
Yes.
That's what my problem is, because then I end up picking something that I don't necessarily need. It's more like wants.
Yeah. That's the thing. When you don't have that list and you're just like, okay, I think I need potatoes. I think I need asparagus, or I think I'm going to make some turkey tonight. You don't really know if you don't have that list and you're not planning out. You usually get a lot more. And that's how food actually goes to waste, because we're not actually having a plan for these items and we're not actually knowing what we're going to be doing. So it's always really great to have that list. Another really important tip is to make sure you don't go to the grocery store hungry. When you go to that store hungry, everything looks more appealing. I don't care who you are.
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Um, yeah, and you tend to pick up everything, and then you're.
Mhm.
I actually kind of did that the other night, and I was like, well, why did I pick this up? And then I was like, okay, well, whatever. It's already done. But yeah, because I was hungry and it looked appealing.
Yeah, you're not the only one. A lot
Yes.
of times, a lot of people just they go grocery store shopping after work, and then it's been a few hours, so you don't want to go home, eat something, and then go back out to the store.
Exactly.
So it's
Mhm.
a lot of people just go hungry, but you actually do pick out a lot more food. So that's why it's really important when you're planning. You list out your meals, what you're gonna need, so that way you kind of stick to your list. And it's kind of need some
Mhm.
willpower here, though. You kind of
Mhm,
can't be like, oh well, here's my list, but I want that item over there. So
mhm, mhm.
definitely planning those
I
lists.
also like the fact that, and I thank you for sharing that the stores have their on the apps. They have your ability to have your shopping list. But what I also like about that is they have previously bought items, so
Yes.
you can just like click on those and put it in your list, which is
No.
pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I love that feature because it's like, okay, I bought during my last trip, this is what I bought for in the past like 90 days. So everything I usually
Hmm.
buy, because a lot of times we buy the same items over and
Yes.
over, like
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
bread, your milk, your eggs, you typically get the same type over and over. It's not like a huge
Hmm.
variation. So it does make things a lot easier. So I said, Miss Ramos
Yeah.
says, I be needing kid-friendly recipes for picky eaters. I'm good with learning how to plan for 3 to 4 days, but not a week straight. Okay, well, that's kind of what we're going to go through. We're going to go to see what you're going to be, when you plan out that meal, you can kind of decide what you want for that week straight. And that way, when you're buying it, you have it. Now, the thing that also comes with this is kind of planning how much. So, little running joke in my family is because I have a husband that's 6'6", 250 pounds. So he's a huge guy. So instead of eating for just like the two of us, I end up cooking for like 5 or 6, and he just eats it all.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so, but definitely, I shared that jsyfruitandveggies.org website at the beginning of class. There is a ton of different website recipes on there, a lot of really good kid-friendly recipes. And the thing is, you don't necessarily need to cook a completely separate recipe for the kids. So if you're making that, say you're making a pasta with like a red sauce and like maybe some ground beef in there. Maybe the kids don't like that ground beef and they don't like the sauce. So maybe you can just set aside some of that pasta because a lot of them usually a pretty popular thing with the kids. So just kind of setting it aside. And that's something that we're going to go over is how to kind of pick certain items from your foods and that kind of you're still having the same meal, but it's not all of the different components. But definitely recommend that website for some picky
I
recipes.
think piggybacking back to the that conversation when you got you need kid friendly recipes and you're on a diet, it's really difficult, Aisha says, to do because you want what they're eating. Yeah.
Yeah. And here, this is actually kind of a controversial subject because diets usually, they're really, a lot of times they don't work. And actually, what I recommend in all my classes is learning to eat in moderation versus dieting. Because when you diet, sometimes you're depriving yourself. Because I know people that'll be like, okay, I'm cutting out all of my sweets. And then when they do finally have it, maybe it's a week or 2 weeks later, they end up having a bunch more. Whereas sometimes when you eat in moderation and you're just being like, okay, I'm going to have it every Sunday night, I'm going to have this one treat, and that's going to be like my little cheat food. You end up actually eating better, and it's actually been shown to be more successful than just kind of depriving yourself. So that's what I actually always recommend for my participants and for my clients. But sometimes we do always want what the kids are eating. I know there's been times where I've been made in mac and cheese, and it's like, I really wish I could eat that instead of this.
Uh-huh. That mac and cheese, oh boy.
Yes.
So good, but so not.
Yeah, it's like, what's the serving size? 1 tablespoon?
Yeah, and that's actually something that Victoria is going to cover in a later session, actually probably in 2 weeks, is all about the nutrition facts label and reading that serving size, because a lot of people don't know what that serving size is, and it's like, here's a portion, and that's why they think dieting doesn't work for them, is because you're not having one portion. You're having 2 or 3, but you're counting it at calories as well. So that's something that we're definitely going to keep going into a lot more in depth. So I definitely hope everyone comes back for that lesson. It's a really great information, and she'll break down that entire label so you know what everything means, from the sodium to what it means for like cholesterol and stuff like that. So it's a really great.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really difficult around holidays when you're eating with family members and they have all the different foods. And so if something tastes really good and you haven't had it in a long time, you do tend to overeat. And, it's just one of those things. And then when you get home, you want to, have that same feeling all over again, and you start eating wrong.
Well, a lot of our emotions are connected to food. So you have that favorite foods that you eat during the holidays, and it's like it gives you that almost warm and fuzzy feeling. So that does control. And last week we talked about portion sizes, and that your holidays and your favorite foods are a huge impact on that.
Yeah.
So back to when you're planning, something that really is beneficial, especially if you are trying to lose weight or you are trying to eat healthier, is you typically get a more well-rounded diet or a more well-rounded plan. So when you're putting stuff together off your shelf, say, okay, I'm having rice, I'm having pasta, whatever, and you're just pulling stuff, whatever you have in your cabinets or your fridge, trying to put something together, it typically doesn't have the different, all the different food groups. So as we remember, this is the My Plate that we have here. This was designed over a decade ago by Michelle Obama. And this replaced that My Pyramid. So does anyone remember that?
I do.
Pyramid? Where it had like your sodium and your fats at the very top, because that's what you're supposed to eat the least of. And then it had that grains on the bottom. Now, we found that a lot of people found that confusing because we don't eat off a pyramid, but we do eat off of a plate. So we really want to make sure we are getting those, especially in your meals. For those meals, especially dinner, we do want to try and get all 5 of those food groups. So whether fruits, veggies, grains, protein, and dairy. And when we plan out our meals ahead of time, it's really beneficial because we can be like, okay, I'm going to have chicken for my protein item. Say we're going to be doing a chicken parm, for example. We got those fruits for your tomato sauce. You have your cheese for your dairy, and then maybe we'll have some pasta with and then a broccoli on the side. So you do have all 5 of those food groups. So when you're planning your meals out, it's a really easy way to make sure you're getting those nutrients. And typically when you are getting those nutrients and you're all planning it out, it'll help you stick to healthier foods. And when you're buying, you can be like, okay, I'm not just picking random items. I'm picking healthier items. Now, it's really important when you are going for different items. I would always prefer you to have different items on your plate versus having a large portion of one item. So like instead of having, say you're doing that chicken parm, instead of having your entire plate covered in that chicken parm, maybe sure you have that broccoli, or make sure you have that other side, whatever you're planning on doing, because it'll help you get a more varied diet. And one thing that we actually really like to tell kids is we always like to tell them eat the rainbow. Yes. Ripping off the Skittles.
Yep.
But it's true, because with each different color of your foods, it not only helps you get a really pretty plate, really lots of bright, colorful, makes the kids more interesting, because let's face it, they always like colors.
Yes.
It does mean you're getting different nutrients, because different fruits and vegetables, especially with those different colors, they're going to provide a lot of different nutrients for you. So when you do plan, it is really going to help you make sure you're getting all of those different food groups in there. Now, here's where kind of most people are waiting for. How do you save money? Because when you're meal planning, that's a huge, huge benefit to planning out your meals ahead of time, because you can know how much you're going to cost. So on that app, when I'm doing it personally, I use ShopRite, but because that's what's right around, I can know exactly how much I'm going to be spending going in there as long as I stick to my list. And that's why I know exactly how much I'm going to be needing. And that's really helpful, so that way you make sure you have enough money, or you can make sure that you're kind of spending in your budget. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is take those store circulars. Now, nowadays, you don't have to use that actual paper one that in the mail. They're usually online. You can do them on the apps is another great place. And kind of when you're planning those meals, it's really nice to see exactly what you're buying and what's on sale. So say, for example, I don't know, artichokes are on sale. You can kind of use that and plan a meal around that. So you can plan your meals and kind of design your grocery list around the items that are on sale for the week. So that way you can make sure you're saving as much money as possible. Now, another great way to do this is making sure you're getting a variety of different items, because each week that store circular changes completely. So by kind of sticking with that circular, kind of gives you a variety, and it kind of lets you switch between different foods each week, and you'll get all those fresh fruits and vegetables. You're getting all those different colors, getting all those nutrients. Now, coupons are another really great item for you to use and for you to utilize and have. Now, coupons come in a lot of different forms. We have the coupons that come on your receipt. I know they have afterwards, after your previous purchase. There is a bunch in your store circulars. There is a bunch in a lot of different places or online. Now, especially what I definitely recommend is always going on the store's website, that whatever you choose. And when you do plan out your list, there's a ton of coupons that are online in the store's app. So in addition to those savings that you can get on your store circulars, you can get it on an additional coupon, so you save even more money. So it's a really great way to get some more savings. Now, has anyone heard of the app called Flip? It's FLIPP.
No, but I'm definitely going to look that up.
So it is a website that you can pull up, and you can put in your zip code, and you can kind of compare all of the different grocery store flyers near you. So say you have a Aldi's, say you have a ShopRite, say you have a Kroger's, whatever is around you, it can kind of see the different grocery store flyers. So I know a lot of people will be like, okay, here's the flyer for this store, here's the flyer for this store. But it kind of does it in one place for you, so you're not kind of going through 15 different circular stores, especially because a lot of times they don't mail them they don't mail them as often anymore.
Right.
It's a really easy way to compare different stores, because say you really want chicken breasts for this week. So it's a great way to get those sales and kind of compare them all in one place. So I love it. I utilize it a lot. And it's a really great app.
I'm gonna actually put that in the chat, that information about Flip. I didn't know about that. I know of people that have done that though, that are like serious when it comes to taking advantage of all the different stores and the things that they have to offer. So I'm so excited about this information about this app, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the comments for everybody, so that they definitely don't miss out on this as well.
Yeah, one of my participants told me about it, and I'm like, I've never heard of this. Like, this is definitely information that I need to be sharing out with a lot of my different participants, because this is amazing. So yeah. It's a really great resource.
I mean, I just from what I just clicked on it just now, I mean, it has down to pharmacies and stuff like that, because I know a lot of pharmacies are now selling food. So to find out about all that information, even if it's your canned goods or whatever, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I love that app. I use it a lot, especially if you're not married to a certain store, you're just kind of shopping around. It's a really great way to see what is on sale where, and really kind of help you plan out your meals, especially when you are trying to save money. Because you'll notice a lot of times in the beginning of the month, when the benefits come in, sometimes people have a little bit more money. But whereas you come towards the end of the month, you're really trying to stretch those last dollars. So it really kind of helps to see where you can get that most bang for your buck and really kind of get the most benefits out of it. So it's a really great app.
Yeah, very cool.
You also want to make sure you join your store's rewards program. So it doesn't cost anything. You can typically do it either in store. If you've never been there, just at the register. You can do it online. And it doesn't cost anything. I probably have 7 or 8 different memberships to different stores, and it's an easy, you just enter your phone number and you get automatic rewards, automatic coupons, all those things from the store circulars will automatically apply when you do purchase those foods. So it's a really great way, easy way just to save some money and have some more benefits and have some more cost-effective options. Mm-hmm. We also want to choose foods that are going to cost less year-round. So what I mean by that is when you're buying things that are more cost-effective, or when you're buying things that are in season, it's going to be a little bit better for you. It's going to be a little bit easier. So, for example, beans. I always have beans in my fridge, or not my fridge, my pantry. I always have them in there because they're easy to add. They're a great source of protein as well as vegetables. So beans actually are 2 of those food groups. They're always low cost, and they're going to be a great addition to any meal that you make. So always kind of trying to choose some of those easy to keep items. They're going to be low cost. And I actually have an activity for us later on in the lesson that I'm going to talk about. But we're going to go through some different ways or some different foods that are just handy to have in your pantries or in your fridges that will last a while, but that are also pretty cost effective and that are going to help save you some money. Eggs are also another really great option that are going to be pretty cost effective. And then another thing, especially if you have that space, frozen vegetables. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is the best form? Fresh, frozen, or canned?
I mean, to me, I always like fresh.
Okay. Let's see. Do we have anything in the comments?
I would say fresh.
Fresh?
Yes.
So we may have preferences, but nutrient-wise, they're actually all going to be the same. So I see some fresh, I see some frozen here, but nutrient-wise, so vitamins, minerals, they're going to be the same. So there are pros and cons to each, and there are different times where we recommend buying different forms. But nutrient-wise, they're not going to be like, these are going to be worse for you than these are. So when it comes to buying your fresh fruits and vegetables, obviously when they're in season, they're going to be the most readily available and they're going to be the most cost effective. So right now, berries just got out of season. We're starting with some apples are about to start to get into season. I know it's getting a little bit colder. So when you're buying things that are in season, it's going to be the most readily available. New Jersey is called the Garden State for a reason. We can produce so many different fresh fruits and vegetables. And actually, an interesting tidbit is spinach is actually about 80% of spinach in the world is grown in China. But since New Jersey has such a varied climate and varied textures, we can actually produce spinach. So New Jersey, that's a little information why New Jersey is called the Garden State, because we can produce so many different fresh fruits and vegetables. So it's really helpful to buy fresh fruits, like those fruits and veggies, when they're in season. Now, if they're not in season, so say it's January and you really want those strawberries, you're not going to be paying that $2, $3 for that carton. I've seen it go up to like $8, $9, and especially with inflation, that's something that's really important. So when you are planning those meals and when you are kind of planning out what you're going to be shopping for, we always recommend buying something that is in season if possible. If not, go for those frozen, go for those canned. With those frozen fruits and veggies, they are going to be grown when they're in season, most readily available, and then they're going to be flash frozen. So they're still going to have all those vitamins and minerals up to 6 months later. So if you have that freezer space, it's definitely a great option. It's definitely a great resource for you to use, and we highly recommend it. Now, when it comes to frozen, there are a couple things that I do want you to look out for. Is try getting just that plain fruit or vegetable. So, for example, if you have broccoli and you want some cheese on it, I'm not saying you can't put some cheese on that broccoli. We all love a good cheesy broccoli, but get that broccoli plain and then get the cheese separately. It'll be more cost effective that way. But it also is a lot healthier for you because when they add different ingredients into there, it usually adds a lot of sodium. It adds some fat in there. So we do recommend choosing just that plain fruit or vegetable. I know a lot of times carrots will have some brown sugar added. So highly recommend just getting that plain fruit or vegetable. Now, when it comes to canned canned usually gets a bad rep. Like people usually think cans are the enemy, but I promise you they're not.
I just don't like the texture sometimes. It depends on what it is because I like my string beans like crispy. I've got to have like that little bit of a bite, crunch, stir fried type of, and when it comes out of the can, it's kind of limp. I don't like it.
No, and that's kind of the thing is that they're all preference and we all have different tastes. So obviously sometimes we do like it. And there are certain foods where I do prefer to buy that fresh, or there are certain times where I prefer frozen over fresh. Like if I'm making a smoothie in the morning, which I love, they're quick, easy, a great way to get a bunch of different food groups in and on the go. I'll always get that frozen veggies or those frozen fruit and veggies. So that way use that instead of having to use ice. So they do have their pros and cons, and sometimes you like the fresh, sometimes you like the frozen. But overall, we do want people to stop seeing canned as like the enemy. There are certain things that you want. There are certain steps that you want to take when it comes to buying canned foods, but they're still going to be great. So whenever you're buying a canned, we always recommend either getting a no salt or low sodium. So your typical daily American, you want to try and stay under for 2,300 milligrams if you're completely healthy. Now, if you have like a heart issue or you have like diabetes or some underlying health conditions, that number actually drops to 1,500 milligrams. So 2,300, which is the average amount, is about a teaspoon of salt per day. Now, you want to take a guess on the actual consumption of people every day?
Well, I know because like to me, like even if I eat out sometimes, I'm like, this food is like so salty, or I'll see it reflected in my body changes. Like my feet will swell up, like it's old age, right? Welcome to 45, I guess. But but still, like it's mind blowing how much salt is in our food that we don't even really pay attention to when we eat out.
Yeah. So most people usually consume around 4,000 milligrams of sodium, which is almost double. It is double for some people. So you definitely want to make sure you're being careful and you're watching out. So that's why we recommend getting a no salt added or low sodium. It easily drops that can from 1,700 to probably, depending on what it is, I've seen them like 50 or so. Now, say you can't get a no salt added or a low sodium. Say you already have the regular can. Don't throw them out. They're perfectly okay. What you're going to want to do is just take it, put it in a strainer, rinse it off for a minute or two. Just have it under that running water because the majority of that sodium is going to be found in that liquid. So by just getting rid of the liquid and just by rinsing it off, you can easily reduce that sodium. Now with your fruit, we do want to make sure you try and pick something either with that's canned in either water or canned in its own fruit juice. So like pineapple and pineapple juice, because otherwise it's going to be canned in usually some type of syrup. And that's a little bit harder to wash off. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it does make it a little bit harder. So I see Miss West says she loves cheese. So cheese is another really great food that you can incorporate with a lot of different foods, you can really elevate a meal. So definitely love that as well.
And we could get like low salt cheese as well, right?
Yeah. You can get low salt, low fat. Typically I'll do like a low fat cheese with whenever I buy them.
And the vegan cheese as well. Some people enjoy those.
Yeah, so vegan cheese is another really great option. It is really easy, especially if you are some dishes. If you really want that bright colors, like I make cookies I make blueberry cookies. I'll always use like a vegan butter whenever I do it because sometimes it just has a better color for whatever you're making. But definitely, it tastes super similar and it's a really great option.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to planning out meals, one of the biggest impacts is your time. So one of the really great ways is to try and do whatever you can ahead of time. So make those meals on the weekends when you have that little bit more time, or prep it now on that weekend, and then just that way, and cut up all your fruits and veggies. So that way, when you are cooking it, it's a lot easier. So like I know if I'm making a stir fry, I'm cutting up a lot of different things. So it's easier to do it on the time when I do have it. Now, when I do take my time into consideration when I am planning those meals. So based on my schedule for that week, I will either make some meals that are a little bit easier to make or something that are a little bit more complex if I do have those times. So like, since I'm working late tonight, I'm here with you guys, I did make a little bit extra the night before. So that way, and I made the night for 2 nights. So that way I don't have to make 2 different dinners. And that way it's just a little bit easier in time. So that way when we're done, you don't have to be cooking a full meal. But on the weekends, I'll typically make a little bit more. I'll make something a little bit more complex when I do have that more time, so that way I can make something and have a variety of things. Now, one thing that we can do is look for shortcuts. So sometimes that grated, that chopped, or something that's pre-washed is a great way to kind of cut out a step of your foods, so that way you can save time. Now, something to be aware of this if you do this is they often will save you time, but sometimes they can be a little bit more pricey. So anytime a manufacturer puts more work into or more preparation into a product, it does increase that price. So that's just something that you're going to want to keep in mind of. But if you need something really quick on the easy, it's going to be a great way to save some time. Now, you also want to try and prepare meals that both you as well as your kids are going to like. We never want to be preparing 3 different meals, because a lot of times when we have different kids, it's like, okay, I want chicken nuggets, I want mac and cheese, I want this. So,
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So
I only had sometimes I'll cook a meal and then it's like or my kids will eat something else. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. So really, we want to try not to prepare a separate meal for each person. So if they like the vegetables plain instead of having it on that sauce, try and prep them on a separate pan. But try and take different pieces of the meals that you're getting, and that will really help you cut down from doing separate meals. Another great way to get kids to try new foods is involving them. So by giving them that accomplishment of, oh, hey, I helped make this, I want to be proud of what I've made, we do find that kids are a lot more likely to try the different foods when they are helping to involve it. So even if they're just washing them, it's a great way.
Yeah, we just had an event with children making meals in a muffin pan.
Oh.
And they were so excited about the pizza in the muffin pan. So it was really a nice event, and everyone was involved, and it was just great. And the kids actually ate the food that they particularly didn't want to eat before. But it looked so nice in the muffin pan.
Yeah, no. We actually have a recipe that we do with one of our in-person kids classes that it is called tuna boats. So a lot of times there's mustard, there's canned tuna in it, and while we're making it, the kids are like, no, but they actually try it, and then they're like, oh wait, I made this, I actually like it. So it is a way to try and get them to get more food groups and more different foods by just getting them involved. And also just takes some tasks away from you. Makes things a little bit easier while you're off doing something else. They can be washing those fruits and vegetables. So really easy way. And it does help. And they do tend to eat more foods. Another way, especially if you don't have time, like say it's really late at night and you're coming home from work and you're super tired, you can try and serve a no-cook meal. So basically something that's either pre-made or so like a salad or some sandwiches. So that way you're not really planning things, or you don't have to go into this huge extensive meal. And lastly, just kind of cook when you have more time. So based on your schedule, based on what days work best for you, or if you have sometimes that you can plan this part of the meal ahead of time and then just kind of put it in the oven. It's one thing I love about lasagnas. I'll prep them, put them together when I have a lot of time, and then I can either throw them in my freezer for 3 months, or I can put it in the oven and have it cooked in 40 minutes and it's done.
I like that idea. What I sometimes do is I would bake a whole chicken and then probably eat it in parts, and then another night do a stir fry.
Yeah, no, that's great. Another really great thing about stir fries is you can incorporate so many different fruits and veggies in there. And for those who have kids that are a little bit more picky eaters, I love incorporating pineapple into my stir fries gives them a little bit of sweetness, so the kids are more likely to try it, but it still has a lot of nutritional value.
Yeah, Miss Elise said she's making chicken salad with her leftover big chicken.
Ooh.
Yep, that's another go-to. I don't know about very healthy, but
I mean, here's the
but
thing.
you know what? Okay, what's the alternative? I know you know one, Ashley.
It depends on how you make it. So, for example, if you're at a lot of, if you do a bunch of mayo in your chicken salad, maybe it'll be a little bit more fattening. But if you add like a Greek yogurt to it, it's another really great option. So something that one of the recipes that we do is a low-fat chicken salad with like Greek yogurt. We'll do some side of, we'll put some grapes in there, which I know sounds kind of weird, but it's actually really yummy. So just by switching out a certain ingredient, it can definitely make a recipe a lot healthier. So I will never tell you not to have a certain food, and I'll never tell you, oh, this food is bad for you. Don't have this. So it's always
less. You would just use less. If we're gonna use the mayonnaise, we're gonna use the low fat or less than what they maybe actually tell you to use.
Yeah, that maybe use that low fat, so that way you can get some different options. So there are foods that we should kind of have in stock, or there's our foods that I always have in stock in my kitchen or my pantry. So that way, whenever I am like kind of need something last minute, or when I don't really have that time to plan out my meals, or say I just need a quick snack. So I'm going to go through some fun, easy ways or some fun foods and some different categories of having that well-stocked kitchen. So something that's really easy to make, something that's quick, is quinoa. Has everyone had quinoa? Does anyone not know what it is?
So I've had quinoa, but it's usually in my sushi. Like I'll choose the quinoa sushi, but I've never really actually made it.
Okay, so quinoa is actually really easy to make. It's really similar to rice. Usually just take it, put it in with some water, the rice, usually put a little olive oil in there, and it cooks super quickly. But quinoa is actually really, really healthy for you. And it's actually both a grain and a protein. So there's a lot of different nutrients in there. So it's a great option. So I always like to keep that in my fridge or in my pantry. I don't know why I keep saying fridge when I mean pantry today.
I had quinoa with cabbage, carrots. It was really good. It was like a stir fry. So it had a nice flavor, and it was delicious.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great options. And there's a ton of different flavors. There's like spinach, quinoa. There's so many different options for this. Another favorite that I always have stocked in my pantry are, like I said, beans. Great option. They're usually really low cost. You can pick up a can of beans for like 60 cents for that generic can. And you can incorporate them in so many different ways. And they're just good to have. So an actual can of beans can last up to 4 years in your pantry. So it's a great way. And it's going to take a long time for them to go bad. And I know they don't last 4 years in my house.
Yeah, I don't usually keep black beans, but I always do have like the red kidney beans.
So no matter what kind of bean you're having, it's going to be a great source of fiber. It's going to be a great source of grains, or not grains. It's going to be a great source of protein, as well as going to be a great source of veggies. So super good food. And I definitely recommend it no matter what kind of type of.
So Ms. Ramos said, yes, I bought quinoa, but I haven't had it yet.
Well, definitely let us know. Come back next week and let us know if you try it and have it. Okay. So another
Maybe
thing.
you look up a bunch of recipes with quinoa.
Yeah, I actually have a different recipe tonight has some chickpeas, which are a type of bean.
Yeah, those are my faves. Another fave too.
Yes. I also she says that dry beans are going to be a lot better than those canned beans. And I mean, they're great. They're usually a lot more cost effective too, to buy the dry beans. It's just a lot of you do need that extra step of cooking them overnight, soaking them overnight. So they do take a little bit more time, especially if you are being conscientious of how much time you have. It's not something that you can easily prepare. So they're great. I love them, but for some people, they just don't work, but they are going to be a little bit more cost effective and they are going to last a long time. Another thing that I always like to stock, I always have different frozen veggies in my house, no matter what it is, whatever's on sale. I usually just grab a couple bags, throw them in my freezer. I know I love just taking it, throwing that bag in the microwave, and that's my veggie for the night. I don't have to prep a ton of different things, especially if I'm cooking something a little bit more complex. It makes things easy. Also, another great protein. Always have peanut butter. Nothing wrong with that classic PB&J. Having it's a really great source of protein. It's also going to be a good low cost option for you. And then, so I always try and keep some fresh or dried fruit. So bananas are going to be one of the cheapest fruits. They're usually very, very cost effective. They're usually readily available. And then also keep some dried fruit on stock. So these are just cranberries. One thing you want to note though, when you are buying some dried fruit, is you want to watch out how much sugar, because sometimes when they dry a fruit, they add some sugar to it. So you want to watch out how much fruit or how much sugar you're having. And then I always try to keep some raw veggies on hand whenever they are, especially in the summer. I love taking them, snacking on them, maybe some tomatoes as well. Maybe dip it in some ranch. It's a great way for snacking. And typically when you have those raw veggies on hand or those fruits on hand, kids are more likely to snack on those versus when they are just grabbing whatever is in the fridge, and they typically will eat something a little unhealthier. So having these are a great way to have some healthy snacks on hand. And lastly, always have whole grain bread on hand. It's an easy way to get that whole grain. We always recommend making at least half of your grains whole grains. So like today, I didn't really have planned for lunch, so I just ended up putting together a grilled cheese with some whole grain bread. So great option. And that is our lesson for tonight. Obviously, if you do want more information on this topic, I know I said there's a ton of really yummy recipes on our jsyfruitveggies.org website. So a lot of great resources there. I'll stop sharing if you want to share their video for tonight, Erica, please.
Thank you.
So that was just a quick, easy recipe. A lot of different food groups. You got your chickpeas, you got your beans, you got veggies, protein, and a lot of different veggies actually in there. So it's really easy, quick, great for the summer, and super refreshing. And that's a great recipe that if you let it soak in your fridge overnight, it's going to taste even better the next day.
Yeah. It's got to marinate.
So that is our lesson for tonight. If anyone has any questions, please put them in the comment box. But overall, I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
And I'm going to go ahead and just share this recipe with you as well so that everybody has access to that. And of course, we do have a survey to share with you this evening. Please take part in that survey. It takes probably about like 2 minutes. We want to hear from you just to hear your take on what you'd like to hear about, because obviously what the work that we do is based off of your interest, and this is a part of that opportunity to engage in that. Okay, so we want to hear from you, hear what you'd like to know about from the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, or learn about a little bit more and more in depth. So thank you so much, Ashley, for engaging us tonight. It was fantastic to have you. And here's a quick look, a peek at what those questions would be. And please just take a couple of minutes, not even a couple of minutes. It's probably going to take you probably like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. And then if you don't feel comfortable answering any of the questions, you can just skip that one.
Sweet. Yep, that's great to know, because I don't want to share how old I am.
Except you shared it with us earlier.
I did. I did. Well, thank you once again for everybody for tuning in to Parents Engaging Parents, beloved community check-in. And please definitely just take a look at us on Facebook and Instagram, see what's going on in the community, what we have to share, and tune into next week's engagement with Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Once again, we're going to be talking about beans. Go figure. So now we're going to learn about all the different kinds of beans.
Yes. Many different types.
Yes. So excited to learn about that. And definitely, if you can, please take a look at our website. It's PEPNJ.org. And please hit the donate button so that we can continue to have engagements just like these, and to bring you more in the coming weeks and months and years. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And please share with your family. The information was great tonight, Ashley. And thank you for sharing. I'm going to do better.
You know what? It's not always achievable. When we go through a lot over the course of the series, because I think we're doing all 13 lessons, if we try and do every single thing into practice right away, it doesn't always work. So kind of try and picking maybe 1 or 2 different items that really resonate with you and stick with those first, and it makes those small goals a lot more achievable.
Nice. Thank you. And I'm just going to remove us all from screen so we could just take a quick look at the ultimate giveaway that we have going on. It's going to be in partnership with Angela Cares. And please just definitely make sure you register. Is the executive director of Angela Cares, in partnership with all these fantastic people that you see up on the screen. So definitely make sure that you register. You should just check us out. Come see us. Come through. We're going to be there on Saturday, August 22nd, for the ultimate giveaway in partnership with Angela Cares, the Jewish Federation of Northern New Jersey, all inclusion for all, and PEPNJ will be there. Have a great night, everyone.